So before the video starts, I just want to take a moment to say a massive thank you for Duncan Rhodes for coming on the channel again for what I think is about the 4th time. So massive thanks to him for coming on. We did it on Twitch, and it was mainly to do an episode of Behind the Brush, which will be coming up very soon here on YouTube. What this video was also recorded during that session, but it's where we talk to Duncan a bit more about the Two Thin Coats paint range, as I've been lucky enough to try it out. So thank you again to Duncan and Transatlantic for sorting that out for me. But yeah, it was nice to sit down, Duncan, and have a conversation about the paints, really, the paint range, the future of the paints, and things like that. So yeah, without further ado, here's that video. Yeah. So Two Thin Coats paints. First off, I just want to, massive thank you to yourself, Duncan, and obviously Transatlantic Games for sending me Wave 1. That was really, really kind of you. You know, I've spoken to you outside of this and sort of expressed the thanks for that. I've really enjoyed them. I've made some content with them, and to be honest, they're my primary paint range that I use now.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
Thank God for
the
amount of work we put into them.
Yeah, I do. I really enjoy it. I tend to not sort of speak about things a lot if I don't feel strongly for it. And yeah, no, I definitely do. I really enjoy them. So kind of the reason why I wanted to do this as well, just to chat to you about the paints a little bit more. So I will start it off. I just want to ask that when you initially were creating the paint range, what were the main things that you wanted to achieve, and what were the main criteria for the paints?
So when we were approached about it, part of our conditions of doing it is that we basically wanted to be able to develop it in a style of system that we thought worked well, because obviously our Games Workshop was very familiar with the fact that they had a system there, and it's evolved quite a bit since then. But as a core mechanic for teaching skills, it's actually really useful to have some sort of set down, I won't say rules, right, but like guidelines. And so we found that's it seemed like a logical way to approach it with what our MO is of now we're trying to help people grow their skills and become more comfortable, gain confidence, that sort of thing. So we decided then to do a triad system, which I know is like it's appeared in other things, but we thought that was better than just doing like a shotgun approach of just a whole bunch of colors. Because this way, like, okay, so there's going to be a red, I know there's 2 of the reds associated with it, and depending on, like, very quickly you can learn which one's your dark, your medium, and your highlight. You can use them purely like that, or you can play around with it within that space, but it means that you've got a bit of leverage essentially. So we wanted to do that, and then the question of how many colors came into it, and originally it was going to be 30, and then we presented to Bob of Transatlantic Games, like, well, 48's a bit more comprehensive if we're sticking to this triad system. And he's like, is that enough? Do you want more? And we were like, could we have 60? And he goes, yes. So we ended up with 60 in the first wave. And that then meant we could choose the colors. And I know at the time when it was first shown, there was a bit of a question as to why there were like so many khakis, for example, but it was because these were all chosen around what we knew to be common paints that we used frequently, and like the common sort of colors of what appear on most stuff. So the idea of that was to make it as comprehensive as possible, so you could paint lots of stuff by just buying that one set. So we're trying to make it, again, beginner friendly, like a one-stop shop. Get this, you can paint most stuff. This then took us into the actual development of the paint itself, which is an enormous subject. But Tag more or less kept me out of the finances of this. And instead, I just got presented with various bases of the paints. So I started out with just a pitch black and a pure white one. And out of those, I was able to choose which ones I like. And then the colours we then mixed up and presented, they then mixed those together and started creating the paints of that. And that formed the basis that we could then go through them one at a time and adjust them. And throughout, what I was looking for is a paint that was going to flow really smoothly, cover well, and not show up brush marks very easily. So kind of the qualities that with time using any particular paint range, you'll start to understand that some paints are better than others within that range, right? And what I was looking for was my favorite style of paints. I wanted everything to be like that style of paint. Now, as it happened, this meant that I chose all the really expensive stuff that I didn't know, because again, Tag just didn't tell me this stuff. They were like, that's the paint you want? Wicked, will make it happen. And so what came out of it was really high quality stuff.
Yeah.
Not intentional, but it does make it easier to paint. And we've got lots of evidence of people telling us this, that they try using our paint and suddenly painting becomes easier for them. So that all fit in very well to the MO of helping people unlock hobby skills and gain more confidence in painting.
Yeah, no, it's a quality product. I will say that. I can definitely tell. And yeah, so you touched on it a little bit with the triad system. I really like that in the review video that we did. It's something that I touched on. I was like, it's just a really cool idea. Obviously, it's sort of been around a little bit, that sort of idea.
Yeah.
But
it works for a reason. Right?
You kind of like honed in on it, especially with like the bottle keys for like shadow, the mid-tone, the wash, the highlights. It's just really like user friendly with it, and each paint is like really feels like it's well thought out to be in that triad. It's not like here's 3 blues because one's dark, one's mid. It's like they live together. It's meant to be.
Yeah.
It hasn't been thrown together hastily. It feels.
Yeah.
I have noticed in other companies' airbrush paint range, they have gone very much the same way, and they show the triad actually on the bottle as well.
Damn.
They got one over on us.
but I'm not naming the competition.
No, I thought I'd just touch on the triad thing because in your explanation for that first part, you answered my second question. So it was about the triad. So I just thought I'd touch on it there, and I'll admit that that's what's happened because it's funny. But yeah, another cool thing that I did like though is the conversion charts that you've got. And I believe, does it convert between the 2 thin coats, the Citadel and the Army Painter, I believe?
And we got some Vallejo on there too.
Vallejo as well, okay, yeah. I think they're really cool. It's a nice touch. It's proved quite handy. But was there... what was the main drive for the inclusion of that? Because you seem to be the only paint range that's doing that actively out there, I believe. Like,
it's actually really important. It's really, really important to us, and it's because your paints are a collection in of themselves, and inevitably you're going to find that you prefer some colours and some ranges more than others, and so most people end up with like a big sort of collection of all kinds, right? And we certainly did our research on that. I can remember even asking years back when I was with Workshop doing these shows in America, like random person, what's your paint collection like? And every time it's like a mix of things. Now, because we're known for our tutorials, we're obviously going to use the tooth and coats paints in the tutorials, but we really don't want to lock people out of being able to follow the guides if they're not using our paints. So for every guide that we do, we make sure that all the colours have equivalents from all sorts of different ranges. So you can paint like anything we're doing using entirely Citadel if you want to. It's a bit of a funny thing in using our paints in the videos because, I mean, they're really good. So it's not like, we're shy about that. But we... I saw somebody on, where was it? Like, we're doing a bit of research as to what people were saying about things. Like, it was quite a while ago now, maybe like a year and a half. And some people were discussing on, I believe it was a Facebook thread about the paints. And someone then looked up one of our videos and then came back and said, he's not using his own paints. Why would he be using his own paints? That means they're rubbish, right? What the reason why is because he was looking back at a video we made shortly after leaving Games Workshop, and our paints didn't exist then. But this then puts the question: if we don't use ours in a video, why aren't we using ours in a video, right? So we sort of have to, but we still are still confident in it. In that we're like, yeah, this is really good quality stuff, and you'll get great results. But it's a bit of a funny situation that we're in that we didn't really expect early on. So it's really, really important then that we are proud about using those. But if you want to use something else, you can use something else, and we'll still help you enjoy your hobby. We want to be honest about that.
That's really cool. Yeah, I'm going to hand over to Dante Paints now.
All right. Okay. So I've got what might be the slightly more technical questions, but we'll see. I think that my first question of 3 may have been partly answered right at the start of this as well. So,
I keep doing that, don't I?
you can feel free to say that it was part of the process. What qualities do your range of paints have that you feel sets them apart from some of the competitors out there?
Our paints consistently cover well and dry very smoothly. This is very much deliberate because I was really petty about wanting the paints to do that. Now, there is a bit of a personal drive in that because my name is literally on the bottle of the things, right? And if they turn out rubbish, then I get it. Okay, so that's a very encouraging thing, let me tell you. But we really wanted it to be as good as possible because when I'm using paints on my own miniatures, sometimes I was finding colours really awkward to use. So a time that really stands out to me, for example, is when I was painting a salamander, Space Marine salamanders, and I was doing some for back when Primaris were about to be released, and I just painted like a little small force of them that appeared in some rulebook or other. And I found using Warpstone Glow really, really irritating because it just wasn't covering. It just wasn't giving a smooth finish. It was going rough, and I wish there was an emerald green that would cover nicer than this. So when we get presented with the opportunity of, like, from the ground up, you can make your own range of paints. Well, now I can address that, right? I want that green to do these things. And we were really, really petty about making sure they do those things. And I think people will notice that when they use it. Because the colour's one thing, right? But when, like, I encourage someone to try having a go with our black, which is Doom Death Black, or Surcoat Silver, right? So a nice silver. They'll see this silky smooth finish. Part of it is because our paints have a very high pigment count in them. They also have a very high leveling agent count in them, like substantially more than what you usually get. As I said, I did actually pick really expensive stuff without knowing it, but but it shows, right? So yeah, if anyone's unsure of what I mean, I encourage you just to pick up 1 or 2 pots, like Emerald Green, for example, or Doom Death Black, Surcoat Silver, as I say. White Star's another great choice. Trooper White's really good. Dark Sun Yellow. These, like your core classic colours, you know, like your primary and secondary and stuff. Just have a go, and you'll see what I mean.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree as well. Because I'm almost going off on like a tangent now. I've got a state. No. I'm not going off on.
That's cool. It's cool. Let's hear it.
No. I was just me having used the paints now for quite a while and things like that, and just concurring with you really and stuff like that. It's basically I was going to shout out a few of my personal faves, but okay. But we also. Yeah, sorry, Dan.
We are open. That's cool. I just want to say we are also open to feedback on things. Yeah. So if people are finding particular quirks and things about the paints, they can email us, and we can, investigate it. And if we agree, then we can address it.
Yeah, it's cool you're listening. But I will shout out Goblinoid Green. Just put it out there. If you want to play your old world stuff, proper retro bases. It's perfect. Yeah. Yeah, it's. I was like, I actually, I will say, I actually did put it to the test. I was like, does it match? Does it match? Like, it's pretty there.
Pretty close. It's
like,
pretty close. None are exact, but to some degree or another, they're very, very close.
It's one of the closest.
In other cases, they're like our own one entirely.
Yeah, it's one of the closest I've found. But yeah.
So. This is not a question. The next question is more sort of like, unfortunately, a slight tangent. One of the things that I've noticed discussing with another paint manufacturer is that the medium that Games Workshop paint is suspended in, it actually makes some of the paints look lighter than they really are, a bit more white. So I'm guessing, again, part of the process, you probably wanted to make sure that the medium you're suspended in is as close as possible to the final finish.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. There are some colours, some brands. This all changes amongst various ranges and things. But it's very frustrating when you're trying to do a particular thing, like if you're trying to highlight it in a certain way or layer in a certain way. If the wet paint is of a different colour to the dry paint, then it becomes really difficult to understand what you're doing because it just completely throws you, and you've got to trust that the colour's going to change after you put it on there. When you're trying to blend with it, it gets even worse, right? So with ours, that makes it more difficult, which means it can't be a thing in our range. It has to stay the same all the way through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So the next proper question, right?
Proper question.
We've obviously run through how you were approached by Transatlantis Games. You've developed the paint range with them. We've had Wave 3 teased and LVO. So we've kind of updated our question because we wrote the question before LVO happened. Was Wave 2 at the very least planned in advance? And have you taken into account community feedback when you developed Waves 2 and 3? For example, we're after a more saturated purple, as an example.
Yes and yes, absolutely. So Wave 1 was actually really tough choices on it because we had to try and make the Rangers, fully self-fulfilling as possible, right, to cover as many bases as you can. But when you're working in a triad system, that means that really you've only got one slot for reds. There's only, because everything's fighting each other for position, you've got to be really, really careful about what you select. So we knew that, all right, if this goes well, we know that when it comes to Wave 2, we can round it out with the other important colours that are missing, like olive greens and stuff. Wave 3 is a further expansion of that. But in each round, we've been able to see people saying to us, could you do a colour for this? Or I wish that it was a bit more like that, or this was an option. I wish it was that sort of formula, but with this colour I really like. And so we've been able to do that. And as we've expanded, we've found there's been more room to manoeuvre. So we've been able to put in some more stuff like that. So, yeah, we're always very keen on what people have to say about things. And we want to keep to our principles of it all being as high quality as possible throughout.
Yeah. I think, Gareth, have you got one more main one? Then we can maybe have a look at some chat
one more
stuff.
Yeah. And so I appreciate when I get to this question, because this question is kind of one that I've come up with because my background's an engineer. I'm a little bit of a geek. I like understanding stuff. So you can possibly tell which questions I helped come up with. And I appreciate you said that there's only so much information you can give us about the future. Completely understand that. You've got to hold your cards close to your chest. So it's kind of a two-part question. Is there a plan to do a range of primers, either spray cans or bottles, that can be painted or airbrushed on? If not, is there a particular primer you would recommend to use with Too Thin Coats paint?
So what I should say for the answer to the first one is that we do intend this to be quite a comprehensive range of stuff. So nothing's really off the table. So I can't guarantee like primers turning up tomorrow or anything like that, but I won't say that they're never going to turn up. Right? So we'll just have to wait and see. What form that takes, I don't know. But if it means that we can offer a product that helps people do their thing, then that's a good space for us, right? So with that aside, at the moment, really I would say for primers, if you're in the UK, Colour Forge are the ones that I found to be the best at the moment. The reason is because they're actually relatively cheap for how much you get. You also get a really large can. You get more in there than Games Workshop, and it's cheaper. And they colour match to really popular colours. They go on very smooth as well. So I usually use standard grey. So I like a medium grey for my undercoat because you can easily manoeuvre with that. You can go up and down and your tones quite easily. So I use standard grey for lots of stuff. But they do a whole range of things. So they're very, very good. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend. If you're in the US, I don't know if Colour Forge is there. I don't know if they're planning to be there or anything. But I mean, you could certainly email them and ask what and she'll be able to give you information about where they are. They're really, really nice people. We've had a good chat with them before.
I've actually spoken to the people at Colour Forge as well because I've had friends in America asking about it. They have said in some respects it's the difficulty of shipping cans of stuff out to America. But it is something that they were working on to try and achieve. So again, I think that one's a little bit like we're not ruling it out. I think they're pretty much the same way. We're definitely not ruling it out, but there are obstacles at the moment, unfortunately.
Whenever we're doing a painting video, we'll only ever use stuff in there that we can recommend and justify as a quality thing, right? So when we're using brushes, it's never because anyone's paid us to use those brushes. It's because I think, oh, this one's really good, and I would be happy for other people to get it, as if this was a recommendation, right? Not really an endorsement, but just saying, yeah, this is cool. If you use it, no, I'm not cheating about. Like, I'm actually using something else off camera. It is literally what you see. And so, if anyone's unsure about what sort of spray primers to use, we use Colourforge in our painting videos all the time. So, take that for what you will, I guess.
There we go. Yeah, for sure. I rate them highly too. So there you go. For whatever that's worth.
Fingers crossed, I'll get into America. It is a big thing trying to ship stuff like that over.
Yeah.
And yeah.
We had a question in the chat from Colin Painting Adventure, who says, are there any starter sets for Tooth and Coats?
Watch this space.
There we go.
In the Kickstarter, so the Kickstarter for Wave 3 is going to be happening at, I believe it's the 20th of February, so it's towards the end of the month. In that, I think they're going to be offering like bundle sets, which are cheaper than buying individual paints. So watch out for that.
Yeah.
But beyond that, yeah, watch this space.
Yeah, I say if anyone hasn't already and might be interested, then on our YouTube channel we've got a few videos regarding it as well, where we sort of test them out and give our thoughts on it. And I do this like retro guardsman, like paint up a retro guardsman using it, like just super fun. But yeah, our general thoughts are in there, and it's all very positive actually, and I always go into it not to be negative, but just to find like like a yin and yang. I think it's like, yeah, it's good here, but then is this right? It's like I thought so hard, and then I wrote some like things that I thought, yeah, that could be a little bit better. It's like, but that's just a personal preference. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not a bad product.
Tricky, isn't it?
It's not a bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh yeah, I wish that was a little bit more that way. It's like, yeah,
but this is still a thing that is useful feedback, right? So if you're going to give feedback, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily right, but it is what you think, and it then becomes a discussion. So it might actually be a valid thing. It might be that one of our tones should adjust slightly and become more user friendly. Possible, but yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think that ties in with the whole point of my question about was community feedback about the range taken into account for waves 2 and quite clear that both yourselves as a team in terms of Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy, but also Transatlantic's Games, want that level of community feedback into the product?
Absolutely. Well, the existence of the glazers is entirely because of community feedback. There are numerous colours that are in Wave 2 that are there specifically because people asked for them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think if
and Wave 3 too, actually.
As allows me the time, there is one question that I had written down that he trimmed out.
Sorry.
Dun, dun, dun. Again,
why did you do this to me? I didn't do anything. What are you on about?
This is a future question, so again, you might turn around and say you'll have to wait and see. You might turn around and say it's a slightly technical question. A few of the other paint brands sell bottles of their medium, be they call it a glazing medium or whatever, but it's usually the medium that their paints are suspended in. Are Transatlantic Games and yourselves looking to do something similar, or has the range been designed so that water, the most accessible thinner for most people, can be used as that medium?
So water certainly works. And in fact, that's what I use almost all the time when I'm painting my stuff and we're on videos. But we do have a medium. Now, it was a Kickstarter stretch goal back with Wave 1. It's called Spirit Medium, which was my name. I'm very proud of Spirit Medium. And I'll tell you what, naming paint is so much fun. But that one, as I understand it with Transatlantis, they've got a plan for it to be on sale, but I don't think that's actually been cemented yet. So... it does exist. I'll say it was a Kickstarter stretch goal, but it will appear in some form or another in time. So
Okay.
It is very much like our wash, but with no colour in it. So it's really good.
There you go. You got your question.
Washes as.
Sorry.
You can make your own washes.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the so going back to that video we did this week, the Pegasus, we actually did make a wash for the actual body or the Pegasus to have that nice sort of ivory tone for it. Now, if I was painting mine, I'd use Spirit Medium because I've got a bottle of it over there somewhere. But because it's not on general sale, we don't use that in the video. So instead, what we use is Lamium Medium for it. But you know,
I do need to get and try all of Wave 2 now. I've got some of it, but there's a lot of paints in there to try. So I'm thinking
it's becoming a big range.
I think I'm still working through Wave 1. Like there's paints in that range that I haven't used yet. Like I want to find a reason to use, but I've not had the project. So I'm like,
it'll come along.
What do I do? What do I do? And yeah, it's good. But there's bottles from like Wave 1 where I think I'm on like my third bottle of it now, because I've used it so excessively. It's just like, yeah, it's my go-to paint. It's like, if I don't know what I'm going to paint something like a certain colour, I have some go-to colours that I just enjoy painting. And now I've got my little triad of 2 thin coats paints. I'm like, yeah, go in that colour. Like, I love the greens. I love like the emerald greens and the ethereal greens. Like, they're really... you can make things start look with a bit of yellow in there at the end as well, like make things really like pop, really like sickly green. So it's like really cool for like Nurgle models. I love it, like checking it on Nurgle stuff. It's sickly. But I've seen the question from Jesus Models means an equivalent. I'm going with that. It says, will Death Guard green be available at any point? I assume they mean equivalent.
Oh, a colour like it.
Yes, colour similar to Death Guard green is what they're asking.
Yeah, that's something we need to look into. We've got some olive greens that are very similar at the moment, but that's been a thing that's come up quite a few times. So I'll look into that.
Yeah. It's such a vast range. Like, it's really, spoiled for choice. For choice, Duncan. We are. Which have who won the battle as well? Of what colour Duncan's got to paint?
Carcassonne.
There we go.
Pretty much.
Oh, did it?
We got.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh man, I've got a million peasants over there. I'm gonna have to paint the shields of again. Yeah. My wife's gonna kill me. She keeps telling me off, changing my mind.
But yeah, I say what's really cool as well. We'll shout them out because I don't know if you know him personally, Duncan, but Chris from Exit 23.
I do know that.
Yeah, stocks your paint range. So good friend of the channel. So I've got an affiliate with him anyway. So that's in my link tree. He's got all your paint range on there. And
awesome. Hi Chris, thanks for supporting.
Yeah, he's got a really good deal on it as well, actually. So if anyone wants to, you said about picking up a few bottles. Like, I always recommend this because people wanting to like just have a dabble and try it. You just try it. Like, it's a great opportunity to try it because I think he's got a thing where you buy 5. And you get the 6 for free, so you can get 2 triads worth if you want.
It's a good deal.
So it's a really good deal, yeah. And so just putting that out there, because support the smaller sort of businesses and things as well. So
yeah. It's always good to try like the little stores. They survive people buying stuff, So if you go in there to game, make sure you buy something, right? It's just like a dice.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What I will also ask as well, sort of, I suppose it could be related to the paint range, but are you planning on going to any UK events this year?
Oh, yes. Well, we are going to be at Salute, and we are going to be at UK Games Expo as well. So we're going to those, and we may go to more, so we'll see. And yeah, I mean, I might go to one for gameplay. We'll see.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah.
So we may see you at UK Games Expo then.
Oh, you'll see us at UK Games Expo.
Yeah. So yeah,
absolutely.
I'll be there.
I'm likely to be at Salute.
There we go then. Both go our separate ways for these things.
Be sure to come and say hello to us.
Well, last time round, I was going round because I went down to support Kerry K-Legs in the presentations that she was doing on stage. So once she'd done that, I spent most of the day walking around with her and her fiance, Ginger of Chaos.
Yeah.
Who I think got some of your Wave 2 bits off of you on the day as well.
Yes, because of course they were on sale. Yeah.
4-way flashes needs to stop it. So Wave 4, like
No, that's
Stop.
Well, if Wave 3 goes well, then I
equivalent.
don't see why not, right?
Yeah, slow down a bit. Like, let's get the Kickstarter going. Like,
Yeah.
so, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, for people watching this on YouTube, I don't know what point this will come out there. So I would say go and check out the Kickstarter. But for anyone that's watching on Twitch now, make sure you check out the Kickstarter. Support it.
It's got its sign up at the moment if you want to be notified about it. Yeah, I think it's the 20th of February it goes live. It's towards the end of the month.
Yeah. I say I'll put all links to all the things in the YouTube description anyway. So to the Academy website, and all the other things, the YouTube channel and things like that. And I also want to just point out that I can't believe we did it, guys. We did a thing on time.
Hey, stop panicking.
I wasn't panicking. I mean, I think I was more panicking for Duncan. Like, I think that's all someone has to do is mention, right? Yeah, I kind of need to be out like this sort of time. Like, oh no, now the pressure's on because I know that I can ramble as well, like ramble on and. It's
cool.
Oh my god. But yeah, no. So
unfortunately, life gets so busy for me these days. I have to.
I can only imagine how busy
things
things are. But
I love making time for stuff like this because it's great to chat to people and also to have an internet chat group tell me what color scheme to paint my army.
Exactly. They've been very well behaved today. I don't know whether that's because I've turned off all the sound effects that they can spam on me. But they've been very well behaved. So thank you, chat. You're amazing. Thank you. So yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you, Duncan. Honestly, third time.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, thanks for having me on, and apologies again. That's it. We didn't do it earlier. It's been really cool talking about this stuff. Thanks for letting me talk about Wave 3. I should say, if anyone's interested in seeing the colours, if you follow our social media, we've been posting up some of the new triads, and we're going to continue doing that in the build up to the actual launch of the Kickstarter itself. So if you pop over to Instagram, Duncan J Rhodes, you'll see us popping up triads on there, so you can see what the new colours are like.
Yeah, please do. Show some love and support. I fully back like the paint range and the Academy and stuff. It's wicked, honestly. Yeah, trust me. But yeah, thank you as well to my co-host, Mr. Dante Paints.
Not a problem at all. Thank you for tolerating me.
Tolerating. I enjoy how chill you are. That's just like panicking, and you're just like so relaxed.
I'm having small panic attacks over here. You don't know. You don't know. Oh my god.
So that gets to give me abuse on Saturday about how I don't know how to play AOS, so it's fine.
Yeah. So there you have it. There's the interview with Mr. Duncan Rhodes in regards to his Tooth and Coat paint range. Hope you enjoyed it. I say it was recorded live on Twitch at the same time as the Behind the Brush episodes. I don't know which way around they're going to come out. This one might be first or the other one, but I will put a link in the description for any videos that are related to this one, including Duncan, so that you can watch any of the old ones and other episodes anyway. So links are all there. You can grab your Tooth and Coats paints from Exit 23 on their great deal they've got. I'll put a link there as well. It's in my link tree. It supports the channel as well because it's an affiliate link, and I'm sure Chris at Exit 23 will appreciate it too. So yeah, go and support that and you won't regret it. The paints are amazing. So thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, take care and happy hobby all. Bye bye.